Bon matin. Ouverture de la réunion. On va passer avec la vision et le land acknowledgement. Donc, on commence avec la vision. Monsieur Lefebvre.
Merci, M. le Président. Excuse-moi. Notre vision. Prescott-Russell continuera d'être une communauté unie par sa tradition et par ses cultures en marche de la prospérité de tous ses citoyens et citoyennes. Our vision, Prescott-Russell, will continue to be a community united by its traditions and cultures working towards the prosperity of all its citizens.
Merci, M. Lefebvre. Land acknowledgement. Alors que nous nous réunissons ici aujourd'hui, nous reconnaissons respectueusement que les terres sur lesquelles nous vivons et travaillons à Prescott-Russell sont situées sur le territoire traditionnel et non cédé des peuples Anishinaabe, y compris la nation algonquine. Nous reconnaissons également que le territoire englobe les terres traditionnelles et visé par un traité des peuples Haudenosaunee, y compris la nation Mohawk. Nous reconnaissons avec gratitude ces Premières Nations pour la protection de cette terre et nous les honorons. Nous sommes reconnaissants des contributions passées, présentes et futures apportées par les peuples des Premières Nations, Inuits, Métis, pour façonner et pour renforcer nos communautés. Bon, ça m'a un peu joué un matin parce qu'on reste debout. Habituellement, on s'assoyait, puis on commençait avec bon matin à tous et bienvenue à notre réunion du Conseil. Membres du Conseil, M. Parisien, chef de département, les gens dans la salle, les gens aussi qui nous écoutent sur YouTube, bienvenue à la réunion du Conseil du 26 juin 2024. On va voir l'item numéro 3, adoption de l'agenda. Ça va me prendre un proposeur et un appuyeur. M. Zand, appuyé de M. Tonarski. Tous en faveur? Contre? Adopté. On s'en va à l'item numéro 4, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, on s'en va à l'item numéro 5, pétition, délégation et présentation. 5.1, John Candy, Prescott-Russell Development Corporation and Paul Blais, Deloitte, 2024-2029, Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan for the United Counties of Prescott-Russell. Messieurs Blais et Candy, bon matin. Monsieur Candy, le podium est à vous.
Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. Monsieur le Président, membre du Conseil, je suis ravi d'être ici ce matin pour vous présenter la stratégie de développement économique 24-29 pour Prescott et Russell. Avant de continuer, je tiens sincèrement à remercier les Comtés unis de Prescott et Russell, le gouvernement du Canada, et je tiens à remercier les membres de l'équipe qui ont mené à terme ce projet. Pour les Comtés unis, Monsieur Parisien, Monsieur Olivier Bertium et Geneviève Bougie qui ont contribué je dirais comme beaucoup au développement du plan. Pour la Société de développement, M. Sylvain Charlebois et les membres du conseil d'administration qui sont ici aujourd'hui. Pour Deloitte, je remercie Paul Blais, Rebecca Taylor, Eva Lugassi, Clark Hoskin et Simon Webb. Comme vous le savez, dans un monde où les défis économiques sont nombreux et complexes, pour nous, cette stratégie représente bien plus qu'un simple plan d'action. Elle représente notre vision commune et collective pour stimuler la croissance, favoriser l'innovation et améliorer la qualité de vie de tous et toutes dans Prescott et Russell. Cette stratégie de développement économique que nous faisons à tous les 5 ans ne se limite pas à des statistiques et des graphiques. Elle reflète notre engagement envers une prospérité économique diversifiée, inclusive et durable. Elle repose sur des fondations solides d'analyse, de consultation publique et de collaboration où chaque voix fut comptée et chaque idée fut valorisée. This strategy is a roadmap that celebrates diversity, embraces change, and fosters collaboration across all sectors of our regional economy. During today's presentation, we will explore these strategic priorities, highlighting the ambitious objectives we have set and the concrete actions we will take to achieve them. Through strategic partnerships, bold initiatives, and tireless dedication, we will discover how this economic development strategy is designed to support key industries, foster innovation and entrepreneurship, strengthen our infrastructure, and drive sustainable development. But let us not forget that a strategy is only as strong as the people behind it. It requires the commitment of every stakeholder, government leader, every business, educational institution, and community organizations alike in order to turn vision into reality. Thank you for your time, and without further ado, I'll pass it over to Paul Blais, Managing Director for Deloitte, who will bring us into the details of our 24-29 Economic Development Strategy. Thank you.
Merci, Jean. Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for entrusting us with a very important piece of work, one of your regular economic development strategy updates that occur every 4 years. It's a pleasure to be able to present the final findings that we've put together with John and his team and a wide range of community and business leaders. Next slide, Olivier, please. Eva, unfortunately, is not able to join us, but John, I will think you all think is an adequate replacement. The strategy methodology flowed through 3 different aspects. We start with an opportunity to do some research to understand where are we now. Where does the United Counties of Prescott-Russell's economy sit at this particular moment in time? Then we explore a lot through engagement. Where do we want to go? This is the future aspirations of the community. And then ultimately, we get to the third step where we're looking at how do we get there. So the difference between where we are now and where we want to go. And I think that speaks to John's point about having a strategy with forward-thinking directions, but also being very tactical. And I hope that you saw that in the plan. Next slide, please. We did part of the engagement was a completion of a business survey. 174 businesses geographically dispersed across the United Counties participated. And what you see here are very good scores in terms of businesses' level of satisfaction with being in Prescott and Russell. A lot of high numbers in terms of overall satisfaction. Of course, on the right-hand side, we've aimed to identify some of the areas of improvement. So both the areas of success are things that we want to continue within the strategic directions, and the areas of improvement are things that we're aiming to address, namely identifying the availability of adequate housing, availability of skilled labor, and the availability of unskilled labor as the largest barriers for businesses to improve their particular position. Beyond the business survey, we also had focus groups with service industry providers, economic development service providers, and business leaders. And we also did an interview with each of the leaderships at each of the local municipalities to understand their aspirations. The next slide shows a SOAR, which is strengths, opportunities, aspirations, risks, and results. It's like a ramped up SWOT analysis, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. There's a lot of words on this slide. You've had the presentation, so hopefully been able to look at some of these things, but I'll just focus on aspirations that are in the middle. These are the principles that we're using to forge the strategic directions of the plan. You know, the aspirations are where the community sees itself in the future. And those 6 bullet points in the middle really do break down into what we think are 4 main aspirations. So entrepreneurship. It's an entrepreneurial community. There are a lot of small businesses in Prescott and Russell. Want to continue that with that strength. There's an increased emphasis on balanced growth. That's geographically, but also sector-wise, and creating more diversification. Workforce, the challenges that were identified in the previous slide that I spoke to about finding the adequate workforce and labor force capabilities to advance businesses, and then improving upon investment readiness so that incoming investors see the opportunities in Prescott and Russell and are able to act on their hopes. The next slide is a little bit more about investment readiness. We did an evaluation of the United Counties investment readiness along a number of factors, including the infrastructure capabilities, but also looking at services delivery. And the numbers came out good in some cases and areas of improvement in others, which again are moved forward into the strategic directions in the tactical plan. But we find that municipalities are generally ready to respond to incoming inquiries, but there are some difficulties in navigating sort of property websites. There could be better alignment between local and regional economic development and planning departments. Needing to develop a brand or a marketing strategy that focuses Prescott-Russell on some clear investment targets where you can be consistently successful instead of just hoping that something comes along and then reacting to it. Certainly the availability of properties varies across the municipalities as well, like investment properties, commercial and industrial. Won't spend a lot of time on these guiding principles. They are important. They're global trends and external forces that are impacting the businesses and investment climate of Prescott-Russell, and they become guiding principles for us when we're thinking about the strategic direction. Ultimately, being aware of these and taking steps to act on them ensures that the community is more future ready, that it is more resilient to any kinds of economic downturns that may occur in the future, and the community is able to capitalize on economic surges that will also happen in the future. Thank you, Olivier. So the current context is that it's a favorable location for growth. I mean, the first thing that comes out of everyone's mouth when we ask, what is it about Prescott-Russell that makes it a great place to do business? It's the location between two major metropolitan regions. That creates business opportunities. It also creates opportunities to attract new people to live here. It's a very dynamic rural region in Eastern Ontario. A significant concentration of Anglo and Francophone businesses and residents creates a competitive advantage that's not found in a lot of other areas. And there's a positive business development environment with an extensive economic development ecosystem, and that plays into the strategic directions as well. So if we go to the mandate and mission slide, the mandate that we've defined here is that the Prescott-Russell Development Corporation should lead the development and implementation of initiatives aimed at building the region's economic prosperity, working on behalf of United Counties of Prescott-Russell, and in close partnership with community organizations and stakeholders. So you see we're positioning some leadership roles, but also some collaboration and partnership roles. In terms of a mission, our mission is to enable the continued success and growth of the Prescott-Russell economy by encouraging leadership among the business community, attracting new commercial and industrial development, and supporting workforce attraction, development, and retention. Workforce development is really something that's come into the stratosphere of importance in the last decade or two, and so it becomes an important part of this economic development strategy, which are identified in the strategic priorities, which is in the next slide. Thank you, Olivier. We've identified 3 strategic priorities. So in terms of investment attraction, I think that and I mentioned this earlier, but with no clear plan for the types of businesses that are the best, that are best positioned, that the community is best positioned, the counties is best positioned to attract, it has been difficult to be consistently successful. Certainly each municipality has had successes in economic development. Some are more visible than others. Some of the successes are your existing businesses adding 1 or 2 new employees, which doesn't show up on most people's radar. But when you add those 1 or 2 employees for businesses across your municipalities, you get a big number of new jobs created. Sometimes it's been very visible, large industrial or warehouse facilities in industrial parks that are obvious to everyone who's driving along those roads. So investment attraction is very important. Workforce attraction and development. Acting on the region's workforce with existing groups. There are a number of agencies that are working towards, continue to work towards improving the workforce, making greater connections between what businesses need and what capabilities are in the community. And this is definitely an area of continued cooperation and partnership. And then when it comes to business development, I think this has been an area of strength over the years for the United Counties. You've continued to invest in understanding how your business community is feeling about being in Prescott and Russell. Your ongoing surveys with existing businesses have given you guideposts as to what you should be investing in to improve their situation, and we wish that to continue. Then the final slide is about the implementation plan, and you'll see in the strategy that we've dedicated some writing and thinking to identifying the kinds of resources that are required, financial and human resources, to implement this strategy. We've identified priorities in terms of leadership or collaboration and also timing. And ultimately, the additional staff resources, the additional financial investment that's required is while outlined in detail, the amount of spending is going to be dependent on the priorities that you choose to act on and the chronology in which you act upon them. That is something that John and his team can work closely with you and your team to develop work plans, business plans, moving things forward. Emphasizing that it's, again, I think I've said it probably 6 times, but it's not about working in complete isolation. It's in fact not working in isolation at all. Some things certainly the CDC would lead upon, but there are, as has been mentioned, and through all the engagement we had, clearly champions in other areas of economic development, workforce development, services delivery that need to be partners. And the municipalities are part of those. Your local municipal, some of you have investment in financial and human resources at a local level. And those collaborations are certainly possible. I think our plan is meant to identify where as a regional group it can be most effective, working closely with the local municipalities and ensuring that the time and energy that you're spending on local economic development at a municipal level isn't duplicated. With that, Warden Rappel, merci beaucoup, thank you, and be ready to answer any questions if not.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blais. Nice presentation. Lots of, meat on the bone in regards to what's available or what could be available. At this time, I'd ask the council if they have any questions, comments. Monsieur Zant, après ça, Monsieur Lefebvre.
Thank you, Warden. Merci, Monsieur Blais. This is a really important, I don't know if there's like feedback here if we're trying to, I can really hear myself. Yeah, okay. Thank you. These reports are really important, but the problem is that each of our municipalities are not on the same page in order to provide the counties with what they need to be able to essentially put this in motion. I say this because, so at the City of Clarence-Rockland, we're currently we're going through our entire landmass, trying to identify which lots, I guess, could be developed and who would be interested and what they would be zoned at and all this. But I don't know if everybody else is doing it. And when it comes to having a plan at the county level, and I think that would be important if we were all on the same page. And until we get all on the same page, this would be really, really difficult to do. Obviously, I want to see it happen because I think that the United Counties of Prescott-Russell has a very big role to play in economic development. But they also have to do a lot of, maneuvering to make sure, because all of our municipalities are quite competitive with each other as well. So we're united at this county, or at this table, but when we get back to our own cities, we want the cake and we want to eat it too, right? So I look forward to seeing what can come of this, but I do think that each of our municipalities, if we're going to take a serious look at this, each of our municipalities need to identify exactly what we're going to do and also let go. If we either choose to hold it ourselves and boldly go where no one has gone before in economic development, or we say, you know what, here it is. And let's all unite in making sure that the counties takes a hold of that. And I think we still have a lot of soul searching to do within our own municipalities to figure out how we're actually going to do this. But I really love the presentation, and I'm excited to see the conversations that we're going to be able to have at this table. So, thank you.
Merci, Monsieur Zant. Need to respond or?
Don't need to, but I can. I'd like to.
Okay, would you like to then?
I hesitated because it wasn't a question necessarily, but thank you for the opportunity, Warden Leopold. To you, Councillor Zanth, thanks for the question or the comment. I agree. I've had the benefit and pleasure of working with several of your local municipalities on economic development or corporate strategic planning efforts over the last 5 and 10 years. So I have some familiarity with where each of you stand when it comes to economic development resources. I think that out of the 3 strategic directions, 2 of them are incredibly cooperative right from the base. Workforce development and business retention and expansion are clearly things that you wouldn't necessarily compete on. Business retention expansion may be a little bit where it's sort of retail here or retail there, but those are 2 very cooperative areas of economic development. Investment attraction, yes. And I think the interesting thing about most regional, if I can call the county a region in this situation, most regional economic development, whether it's structured under a government entity like United Counties or it's a number of municipalities getting together, like the Ontario East Economic Development Commission or the Quinte Economic Development, which is Belleville, Quinte West, and Brighton. There's not a formal government that structures them, but they work together. There is a degree of coopetition. It's cooperative in terms of the marketing approach and ensuring that municipalities are have an equal level of opportunity to participate in attracting economic development. But it will be competitive ultimately. It will be that, okay, we have this opportunity has come to us for Prescott and Russell. It can only be in one municipality. And only one municipality will benefit from the tax dollars that come from that. Probably all, if it's a significant event, will benefit from indirect economic spinoff from that investment. So there is certainly that in mind, but there is an opportunity regionally to have or countywide to have a cooperative approach out into the marketplace so that more opportunities are consistently coming your way. And then it's sort of like if you're not doing anything, then 0 to 1 come your way. If you're doing something, then 5 or 10 opportunities come, and you'll have just a better chance of securing more investment. Yeah. Merci.
Merci, M. Blais. M. Lefebvre?
Thank you, Mr. Warden, and good morning, Mr. Blais, and thank you very much for your presentation. Very interesting. I had a chance to look at it. And I will certainly echo the comments made by my colleague over here, Suzanne, and your response. I have always mentioned that we have a lot of positive things here. We're always located between 2 major centers, be it the 2nd largest city in Canada and the national capital. We have all the opportunities, and the world has gotten smaller, and we're right there in the middle of it. I have to mention also what Mr. Zanton mentioned in terms of regional level and your comments in terms of everybody will benefit, all levels. And that's the most important thing. You did identify and address housing, of course, which is a major issue, skilled and unskilled labor. All of these items basically are an issue not only for the town of Hawkesbury, but across the counties of Prescott and Russell. The counties are presently doing a study on housing at all levels, be it social, affordable, whatever that means today. We don't know for a fact. And of course, market. So those are very important issues, and they affect us all. I think that the group like of Mr. Candy and his organization can take a leadership, partnership, a championship role in many aspects. And I think we need to rely on these organizations that can sometimes cross geographical and political borders too. But I think it's very important that we work very closely and also at the regional level if we are going to basically meet all the needs of our business. And that, like you mentioned, individually, it's very small, but collectively, we can do a lot at all levels. And again, thank you very much for your presentation. Merci, Mr. President.
Merci, M. Lefebvre. Autres commentaires? Questions? No. Thank you so much. And maybe we'll see you in the near future in regards to additions or adjustments in regards to the plan and see how we move forward. Good. Thank you so much. Merci. On this presentation, we also have a resolution in regards to accepting the presentation. Be it resolved that the United Counties Prescott-Russell approve the 2024-2029 Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan for the United Counties of Prescott and Russell as presented. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Mr. Zant, appuyé de Monsieur Lefebvre. All those in favor? Against? Carried. Item number 6, consent items. All items listed under the consent items will be enacted by one motion. 6.1, minutes of the regular council meeting that was held on May 22nd, 2024. Merci beaucoup, mesdames et messieurs, and we'll see you eventually in the future. Bonne journée. Bye. Item number 6.2, the minutes of the Prescott and Russell Residence Management Committee of May 22nd, 2024. Item number 6.3, minutes of the special council meeting of June 12th, 2024. Item number 6.4, the monthly accounts. At item 6.5, correspondence to council. 6.5.1, invitation, official inauguration of the Grenville Canal. 6.5.2, Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, various correspondence. 6.5.3, we have the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing and National Housing Strategy. At 6.6, 2025 budget timetable. 6.7, the report UF-004-2024, La Rose Forest Land Inventory. And at item number 6.8, the committee, board, and commission appointments for the remainder of the year 2024. Any questions in regards to any of these items? Now's the time. Pas de questions. Mr. Tonarski?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. J'ai juste une question de clarification au sujet de l'item 6.7, Forest Land Inventory for La Rose. I just have a question. So the question is, I wanted to ask, was there a discussion of around that inventory of land, of maybe kind of optimizing that land by being able to sell some land and buy other land at other places? Pardon? Oui, c'est ça. Alors, la question, c'est est-ce qu'il y avait eu une discussion dans le passé where this inventory of land was going to come together to see if there's ways to optimize that land, where we can sell some valuable land and then buy other land and bring it closer together, or buy land at better value, and then therefore like optimize that asset?
La question va être à M. Prévost. Go ahead.
Merci, M. le Président. M. Tarnowski, oui, originellement, la question avait été posée par M. Leroux, qui avait justement demandé une analyse comme ça. Puis suite au départ de M. Leroux, M. Riopel avait demandé précision au Conseil parce que c'était vraiment une demande de M. Leroux à savoir est-ce qu'on voulait quand même procéder avec cette analyse-là. Puis ce qui avait ressorti du Conseil, c'était que il n'était pas vraiment intéressé à ça, mais cependant, il voulait avoir quand même une idée où étaient situés les terrains au niveau des comtés unis. Donc, the report that's presented today is basically an inventory of where exactly the land, all of our parcel of La Rose Forest are located. However, if council still wants me to undertake that exercise that you just mentioned, that's something we can do.
Merci, ça répond à ma question. C'est beau.
Merci, M. Tarnowski. Any comments, any other questions? Tout le monde est bon avec le budget timetable? The dates are good? All good? Very good. Inauguration Grenville Canal. Qui y va? Avez-vous l'intention d'y aller? You're going to be going?
Je l'ai mis dans mon calendrier. C'est quoi la procédure?
De peut-être informer M. Bertillon. On avait une date limite, hein, on avait jusqu'au 20 juin de 10, on voulait y aller. C'est celle-là?
On peut s'occuper toujours membre du conseil, on peut toujours s'occuper de vos inscriptions. Simplement me donner une directive.
OK. So, je vais contacter M. Bertillon.
Oui, c'est bon, je vais y aller.
Anything else? All good. On s'en va à l'item de résolution. Be it resolved that the consent items be adopted as presented. Need a mover and seconder. La Violette, seconded by Lefebvre. All those in favor? Those against? Carried. Item numéro 8. Reports of the department and committees. 8.1 Finance, 8.1.1. Report F-007-2024 in regards to the 2024 budget revision. Une résolution, be it resolved that the Council of the United Counties of Prescott-Russell approve option 2 as stated in report F-007-2024. Need a mover and a seconder. Proposeur, appuyeur. Madame Lajoie, appuyée de M. Tarnowski. Any questions? All those in favor? Against? Carried. 8.2, Emergency Services. 8.2.1, le rapport SU 003-2024. Transfer from the reserve for ambulance services for the purchase of 2 emergency response vehicles. Encore, un attachement, résolution, be it resolved that the Council of the United Counties of Prescott-Russell approves option 1 as stated in the report SU-003-2024. Mover and seconder. Mr. Tarnowski, appuyé de Mme Lajoie. Question? Seeing none, all those in favor? Those against? Carried. Now, item numéro 9, question period for the head of departments. Seeing none, good month. Now, item numéro 10, bylaw number 2024-30 to bylaw number 2024-32. All right, be it resolved that the following bylaws be adopted by the Council of the United Counties of Prescott-Russell after 3 readings. Bylaw number 2024-30 to adopt the budget revision of the year 2024. Bylaw number 2024-31 to authorize the implement temporary road traffic control measures on county roads. Bylaw number 2024-32 to authorize the entering into a municipal funding agreement of the Canada Community Funding Fund Building Fund with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. I need a mover and a seconder to bring forward the bylaws. Mr. Zant, appuyé de M. Lefebvre. Avant de passer au vote, est-ce qu'il y a des questions sur les bylaws? M. Lefebvre.
Merci, M. le Président. Juste une petite question concernant les réserves et les fonds de réserve. Mme Gratton, par information, quand ça vient à les réserves pour les services ambulances, le montant est issu directement de les contributions du fonds de revenus, en autre mot, taxation directe, ou il y a d'autres sources de revenus qui contribuent à la réserve?
Monsieur le Président, Monsieur Lefebvre, les contributions sont faites à même la réquisition à chaque année, donc on prévoit certains montants pour le remplacement de nos ambulances, de nos bâtiments, etc. Il y a des montants qui datent de longtemps. Réserve-là. Déjà, il y avait un certain montant qui mais oui.
Ça fait un petit discours, c'est ça. C'est sûr que je me posais la question parce que quand il y a eu le fameux discussion qui fait quoi, who does what, il y a 20 quelques années passées, quand il y a eu des transferts entre la province et les municipalités, il y avait des fonds comme la route de la 17, quand il y a eu des transferts. Je présume que ces agents-là, ça fait longtemps qu'ils ont disparu à travers les contributions. Alors, je présume la même chose s'est produit quand ça vient au transfert des services ambulanciers au comté.
Je dirais depuis 2008 ou 2009, il y a une contribution de la part du ministère à nous. Ce qu'ils font, c'est qu'ils subventionnent l'amortissement de nos mobilisations.
Merci. Merci, M. le Président.
Merci, M. Lefebvre. Mme Gratton. Any other questions in regards to the bylaws? Seeing none, read the first time, all those in favor? Read the second time, all those in favor? Read the third time, all those in favor? Carried. Avant d'aller à item numéro 11 ou suivant, j'aimerais remercier Mme Gratton. C'est votre dernière réunion avec les membres du Conseil. grandement plaisir d'avoir eu la chance eu la chance de partager vos connaissances. Je veux dire, vous avez bien rempli votre fonction, vous avez bien répondu aux questions. Un gros merci. Si jamais le poste devient encore vacant dans le futur, on saura qui approcher, en espérant que la retraite n'est pas pour bientôt. Puis je vais laisser M. Parisien peut-être enchaîner sur le fait, parce que c'est lui votre grand patron. Donc, M. Parisien.
Merci, M. le Président, membre du Conseil. Non, on a été excessivement choyés d'avoir la personne de Mélanie Gratton pour prendre la relève pendant le congé de maternité de Mme Parisien. Vous savez, c'est important dans une organisation d'avoir de la profondeur, d'avoir ce qu'on appelle des second in command, mais c'est aussi important d'avoir de la compétence. On est choyé au niveau du département de finances d'avoir avec nous Mélanie Gratton qui est CPA, CA. Donc, on a deux CA au sein de notre appareil administratif au niveau des finances. Mélanie s'est acquittée de ses fonctions comme si elle avait toujours été là. En fait, elle est devenue membre de l'équipe à partir du jour 1. Et puis, je vais vous dire qu'on va la manquer énormément parce qu'elle amène un côté pince sans rire. Elle est excessivement professionnelle et elle exerce une grande rigueur. Puis elle s'est laissée aller quelquefois avec des petites farces à côté qu'on ne lui connaissait pas. Donc, on a appris à la connaître sur un plan beaucoup plus personnel. Mais je vous dirais qu'on est vraiment chanceux, surtout au niveau des finances, d'avoir une équipe comme on a là. Mme Parisien va revenir au mois d'août. On a hâte de la revoir, mais on va manquer énormément Mme Gratton. Ce n'est qu'un au revoir puisqu'elle va continuer à travailler avec nous. Comme elle est impliquée dans plusieurs dossiers, ce n'est qu'à la table du Conseil qu'on ne la verra pas pour quelque temps, puis elle est toujours là au niveau du remplacement. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Mme Gratton.
Monsieur le Président, membre du Conseil, merci pour les fleurs. C'est c'est vraiment gentil. Je voulais en profiter aussi pour remercier les membres du Conseil et les chefs de département pour leur accueil et leur collaboration tout au long de l'année. Et je vais en profiter pour remercier mon équipe aux finances. On a une équipe qui vraiment qui fait du travail très rigoureux, puis bien que ça ne paraît pas à la table du Conseil, ils ont travaillé fort cette année. Tout particulièrement, un merci à M. Daniel Paquin, qui a assumé les fonctions de trésorier adjoint au cours de cette année.
Merci beaucoup. Item numéro 11. Je pense que c'est item numéro 11. Closed session. C'est juste pour adopter les minutes. S'il y a des questions pour les minutes, on va tracer l'autre bord, on va aller à huis clos. S'il n'y a pas de questions, on va juste passer la résolution. Is there any questions? No questions? Donc, be it resolved that the closed meeting session minutes of the special council meeting of June 12, 2024 be adopted as presented. I'll need a mover and a seconder. La violette, appuyée de M. Kirby. All those in favor? Against? Carried. On va à l'item numéro 12, qui est le Confirmatory Bylaw 2024-33. Be it resolved that Council adopt Bylaw number 2024-33 to confirm the proceedings and recommendations made in the reports, regulations, resolutions, and bylaws at the regular council meeting of June 26, 2024, after 3 readings. Donc, to bring forward the bylaw, proposeur, appuyeur, M. Tarnowski, appuyé de M. Lefebvre. Read the first time, all those in favor. Read the second time, all those in favor. Read the third time, all those in favor. Carried. 13, les annonces, announcements. J'imagine tout le monde a des parties de Canada Day, là. M. Lefebvre.
Oui, merci, M. le Président. Et bien entendu, c'est notre 3e édition du Festival multiculturel à Hawkesbury à partir de vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Il y a beaucoup d'artistes qui vont être à la page. Alors, on vous invite toutes et tous de bien se rendre à Hawkesbury. On a des belles choses toujours. Merci, M.
M. Lefebvre, any other announcements or M. Tarnowski?
Je voulais juste annoncer que in our municipality, Russell Township, we just approved the largest project ever in history of Russell Township with the build of our recreation complex. So we're all very excited. Council approved, and construction will be starting in August, sometime in August. Merci.
Nice. Merci, Mr. Tarnowski. Any comments on d'autres annonces? Seeing none. Champlain, c'est la même chose. July 1st, Canada Day. juste visiter notre site web, champlain.ca, aller voir plein de choses sur le document ou sur le webpage, plein de choses d'annoncer. J'imagine que c'est pareil avec les municipalités. Mais anyways, cela dit, c'est la chose de faite. On s'en va à l'item numéro 14, ajournement. Bonne journée tout le monde. On se revoit le prochain mois. Take care. Have a nice. Au mois d'août, c'est vrai, en juillet, il n'y a pas de meeting. See you in August. Take care. Merci les gens à la maison. Membres côté administratif, bonne journée. Au revoir au mois d'août.